Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming here today on what are a series of exciting announcements. Every one of the 56,000 veterans who live in Jefferson County has something in common. They served in different branches of the military and in different eras, but at some point in the past, they each raised their right hand and took an oath to support and defend the United States of America. And they did that even though that could have cost them their lives. They made that commitment to us, the citizens of this country. And so the question we have to ask ourselves is, what is that commitment we're going to make to our veterans? And today we're going to talk about a variety of those. As mayor, one of the top priorities of my first year in office was to revive the Veterans Day Parade. That's essential for our veterans and the rest of us, especially our young folks, because they need to understand from a very early age the importance of serving to country and to community. My team and I also decided that we needed to ensure that our veterans know where to turn to get the help if they need it, for housing, employment, medical care, etc. And that's the important work that VCAL, the Veterans Community Alliance of Louisville, does. VCAL works to coordinate services, advocates, and puts people in place to support our veterans. VCAL was an effort started in 2014 by the Volunteers of America, Mid-States, and 7 county services with some great leadership from an Ignite Louisville class. We'll be hearing a lot more about that later here today. Last year, I asked the folks at VCAL to help us expand our Veterans Day recognition by creating a full week of activities and community programming that celebrates veterans in our city, and we would call that our Week of Valor. This year, VCAL has met the challenge again with 8 days of activities where we ask everyone across the community to recognize, support, and honor our veterans. You're going to hear a lot of details about that, as I mentioned shortly, and it's going to be a big week for us next week. But there's more. In July of 2014, I signed the Mayor's Challenge to End Veteran Homelessness. And my goal was for our city to be one of the first cities to respond to that challenge issued directly from the White House by First Lady Michelle Obama. The goal of the Mayor's Challenge was straightforward and ambitious. We don't just address veterans' homelessness in our city, we end veteran homelessness in our city. And that's the right approach. Identify what the goal is, get right after it, and really commit to ending homelessness. I feel, and I know the people that worked on this, and we're going to talk about them here in a second, that's the kind of approach that the men and women who've served our country certainly take for us when they defend our freedom and security, and it's at least what we can do for them when they're back in our communities. So, we signed the pledge, then what? We convened a work group of federal, state, and local agencies working with veterans and the homeless to create a plan for how to accomplish this and to report back with the following: the number of veterans we need to serve, a list of resources already in place, changes that needed to take place to reach that goal, and any barriers preventing success. The group went to work immediately. There was huge passion. The first step took place in December of 2014 when we identified 360 homeless veterans living in our shelters or on the streets of our city. And a few of them, of course, had families as well. Then, in early January of 2015, we unveiled our plan to end veteran homelessness in our city by 2016. We asked nonprofits and private businesses to help us meet this challenge. And boy, did they ever. Some other folks will be coming up to give you the details and who did what and how it was done. It's a lot of names and a lot of dedication that makes me proud to be a Louisvillian. So because of the hard work of citizens and organizations across our community, I can tell you that we are declaring a major success milestone to end veteran homelessness in Louisville here today. I'm able to say that because Louisville has found housing for all of the 360 homeless veterans who were identified in December of last year. Now, this is not something where you just say you declare victory and move on. This is an ongoing effort. We need to address the housing needs amongst veterans in our community as a whole, so we're not done by any means. And we know that even though we're in the process of housing all the homeless veterans identified in December of 2014, since then, there's been additional veterans who've arrived in our city, and we have a system in place now, that's the good news, and a great team working to help them address their housing and other needs as well. But this really is something to celebrate. It's just another example of what we can do as a community when we come together around the right thing, around compassion, around our dedication and love for our veterans. So we're going to show a brief little video here that I think puts this team effort into perspective, as well as a note from a real VIP here in the country. So let's roll the video. It's about a 3-minute video.
Just keep on going.
On June 14, 2014, First Lady Michelle Obama introduced the mayor's challenge to end veteran homelessness, an initiative for communities to end a portion of the population's homelessness by the end of 2015.
These leaders are best equipped to tackle this challenge because they know their communities inside and out. And they're in touch with service providers who know these veterans by name. So they aren't just going to address veteran homelessness in their cities and states. They're going to end it, and they're going to do it by the end of 2015.
Mayor Fisher signed the pledge a few months later, making Louisville one of the first cities to accept the ambitious goal.
All of us believe, and I think every American does, that no one who wore our country's uniform should have to live in the streets or in a shelter. And we're committed to working together to eliminate that homelessness in our community here this year.
Louisville identified 360 veterans needing assistance, and for the past year, with the coalition of partners, worked to find them homes and get them the services and the help that they all needed.
Just recently, the President addressed the Veterans of Foreign Wars, or VFW, at their national convention in Washington, D.C., and he referenced 3 or 4 cities, including Louisville, as an example of what can happen toward ending veteran homelessness when the partnerships are as effective as they are here in our community.
We're seeing major progress in cities like Salt Lake City and Louisville. So this has become a national movement, and we stand by our pledge. We are going to keep at it until every veteran who has fought for America has a place to call home in America.
Louisville is meeting the challenge because of the efforts of the city. Numerous nonprofits, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the Louisville Metro Housing Authority, the Coalition for the Homeless, Volunteers of America, and the Robley Rex VA Hospital. But helping homeless veterans is more than providing them with a place to live.
We do outreach every day in the community at shelters, and we have transitional housing where veterans can get back to work, get into treatment, save money, find housing. But a lot of the veterans need more case management and more support to do that.
Funding from HUD helped establish assessment teams who now identify those needing the most help in our community.
They have a team of people who, instead of somebody getting into shelter and then getting stuck there and we don't know where they are, or they're somewhere out sleeping on the streets and nobody knows how to get resources to them, they go to that person and assess them within 14 days of somebody identifying them as homeless in our community. And we use that assessment so that we're no longer housing people first come, first serve. We now house you based on the person who has the greatest need.
Every branch of the military believes that no man should be left behind, and that includes being left behind here at home to live on the streets.
When we have housed all the veterans that are homeless in our community, that's not enough. We can't leave anyone behind. And they have committed to continue to work with us as we go through the next population and the next population, because they don't want to see any homeless person living or dying here on the streets of Louisville.
It fits right in with the mayor's desire to make Louisville a more compassionate city. I don't know what could be more important than knowing that the community we live in actually cares about people.
All right, folks, we're all in this together, and it's been amazing to see how everybody has rallied around this effort, and each and every one of y'all own part of this. So we're not done, and I know you're not the kind of people that say we're done, but we've made really good progress. So it's fantastic to see. And we've been able to do this because we got some just great partners, and several were mentioned in that piece right there. But I want to tell you that HUD has really stepped up, and you know, we've got to thank our President Obama, and the First Lady, because it's one thing to say things, but when the mayor started saying, here's some of the challenges that we have to get this done, I've never seen the federal government, I mean, they move like an entrepreneurial organization. It was fast. And our team with HUD was right there at the tip of the spear and really made this happen. So it was like a no excuses, we're going to get this thing done. So I want to thank, we're going to hear from Chris here shortly, but thank all the folks at HUD. The Louisville Metro Housing Authority, Tim Barry's here, just the same assistance. And you know how it is when you're working on a project and you're not going to take any excuses for anything less than 100% success. That's what everybody has done on this. VCAL, tremendous with our community efforts now to help our veterans, assist our veterans the way that they should be. Katina Whitlock was our internal head on this with our community services and revitalization team. Again, no nonsense. We're going to get this done. It was a great combination of kind of a business-driven, data-driven approach, but with people behind each and every number. And it's one thing to just kind of use data, but it's another thing to understand we're talking about human beings here. And that's the type of sensibility that we have in our community services and revitalization team. Natalie Harris, the Louisville Coalition for the Homeless. Of course, you've been doing this work a long time, and all she could do is smile. You know, she just saying, housing vouchers on demand? Really? It was more than that, but when you have the resources, you can really do some amazing work. And it's not just housing, but then technical assistance and the coordination of services for veterans as well. So all this has just come together to made a huge impact on how we handle homelessness for all populations going forward, because we've learned a lot about other ways to attack the whole homeless problem, in addition to obviously the veteran objective here as well. And then other key partners to thank are VOA, the Volunteers of America, and their role with VCAL and just their daily services. The Robley Rex VA Hospital Homeless Program. VA does so much for our community and frequently does it quietly and behind the scenes, but they were another one of those federal agencies that were making sure that we were getting this thing done and we were going to achieve the mission. And the state of Kentucky, the governor's office, of course, was right in the middle of this as well, because as we wanted to be one of the first cities to achieve success in this area, the Commonwealth wants to be able to do that from a state perspective as well, and that can't be done if we're not one of the first cities, because the facts are that we've got a disproportionate share of veterans' homelessness issues here in our state. So we're thankful to all of those folks, and then others that will be introduced here a little bit later. So first off, I would like to ask Chris Taylor to come up here. Louisville's as Louisville Field Director for HUD. As I've discussed earlier, just been a great, steadfast partner with us. Chris?
Thank you, Mayor Fisher. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. As HUD celebrates its 50th anniversary, I'm honored to be here to represent Secretary Castro and the Department of Opportunity. The challenge that Mayor Fisher talks about is very simple. It's looking at local officials to make a commitment in their community to end veteran homelessness. Why, you may ask? In my own words, no man or woman who has served this country, who has fought for this country, should have to come back home and sleep on the street. So we're very happy that Mayor Fisher was one of the first mayors to sign on. And I think we've made awesome progress in this city. First, I also want to talk about what's remarkable about the system that's really created here, the system that we've created to end veteran homelessness. Led by Natalie Harris and the Coalition for the Homeless, we've identified 360 veterans that we've housed to date. That couldn't have been done without the Louisville Metro Housing Authority. Tim Barry, who's here today, I want to thank you personally. He actually set aside vouchers in his own program to supplement the VASH vouchers, which was very important because a lot of our veterans didn't qualify for VASH. And that was due to a lot of reasons, whether they weren't eligible for VA benefits or they didn't have the right discharge status. So those vouchers actually helped us bridge the gap, so to make sure we caught everybody, to make sure no one was left on the street. The other thing that I think is remarkable about this system is that once a veteran has been housed, we're actually able to get them in housing in less than 90 days, which is very important. The other thing that I want to mention is the federal standard on what it means to end veteran homelessness. It doesn't mean that we won't find any veterans on the street tomorrow. Homelessness is it's a fluid issue. People can become homeless due to multiple things: changing economic situations, mental issues, or even sexual orientation. What's most important is that we actually have a system in place to deal with that issue, and a system that can last throughout time. Obviously, this is an ongoing effort since new veterans are still returning home. But achieving this goal means that we found new and effective ways to help Louisville veterans find the housing they need, the housing they deserve, and most importantly, in my opinion, the housing that they've earned. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris. As I mentioned, our federal partner, Congressman Yarmouth, in this, we couldn't have done this without his office as well. We're just really fortunate to have a congressman that not only has a piercing intellect, but has a heart as big as this city. And the way he puts it to work day in and day out is something I'm very thankful for. So, Congressman, if you'd come up and share a few words with us. John Yarmouth.
Well, thanks so much, Greg. Chris, thanks to you as well, and thanks to everybody who has been a part of this remarkable accomplishment. I want to say mission accomplished. That maybe kind of revives some maybe unpleasant thoughts, but this truly was a remarkable mission accomplished. And, you know, I'm honored to be here for this announcement today. The city is showing veterans that we're here when they need us, not just when we need them. As has been said repeatedly, this was a team effort to put housing first and to provide our veterans with a safe place to live. A good home serves as a foundation that individuals and families can build upon for the rest of their lives. But this effort has not just been about housing. It's part of a coordinated effort to address some of the factors that can play a part in veteran homelessness: employment, mental health issues, substance abuse, and the fight that many families have just to make ends meet. The men and women who have fought for us overseas should never have to battle to find a place to live once they get home. We've heard that 3 times now. As citizens, the debt we owe those who serve in the uniform of our country is impossible to repay, but it is our duty to do all that we can to ensure our veterans have every chance to enjoy the rights and opportunities they serve to protect. You know, this is a community that in so many ways has reached out to our veterans, and we are one of the most veteran-intensive communities in the country as a percentage of our population. And there's so many people involved in trying to make that life, the life of veterans, much better, and including the many who've come back from battle who face challenges that most of us will never even be able to imagine. So I'm glad to be here today to offer my congratulations and my sincere thanks to everyone who was a part of this effort. Your efforts and the heroic sacrifices of our veterans make us proud to call Louisville home. So Mayor Fisher, congratulations. And as you said, the work continues, and on the federal level as well as state and local levels, we're going to be here for our veterans because they were here for us. Thanks.
Thank you, Congressman. Appreciate that. And now I'd like to ask Ed Dowland to come up and say a few words. Ed is a formerly homeless vet who now owns a home in the Box Elder neighborhood. And this, my man, is what it's all about. Thank you. Please welcome Ed Dowland.
My name is Edward Dowland. I am a former homeless veteran, and 6 years ago I come to Louisville, Kentucky, so I have to thank God for Louisville, Kentucky, and each and every one of you that played a part in helping a veteran, you know, just a veteran, you know, not just any veteran, not a specific veteran. So I am truly grateful. And I was hopeless, and I was homeless, I was penniless, and I had addiction that I had had for over 20 years. And by getting into the VA system and getting into the support and taking advantage of all that y'all had to offer, I am now a homeowner, and I couldn't have did it without each and every one of you. And you know, I just want to thank God for each and every one of you, and especially you, Mayor Fisher, and you, Congressman. Thank y'all.
Well, thank you, Ed, for your service, and Beautiful words. Why don't you invite us over to a little barbecue at your house sometime? Okay. Well, that was a big deal. That was the first part of the press conference, and again, so many of us have worked on this for so long, and we're not done, but it's good to stop occasionally and say we've done something good here. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing for our citizens here. So now we're going to transition to talk about the Week of Valor. So this is all intertwined, obviously. We started with our Veterans Day Parade. This will be our fifth one, fifth in a row. And then we wanted to expand upon that, as we spoke about, with the Week of Valor, so we could connect all of our veteran services together, and so people would know what was available. But that requires a lot of folks. So Scott Gardner, if you'd come up. Scott is going to discuss the Week of Valor events in detail. And then anybody else that's been involved with the Week of Valor, would you all come up here as well so we can get a little Photoshop? And I want you to introduce yourself and what organization you're with. And so there's a lot of people like being really shy right now. So if you had anything to do with the Week of Valor and VCAL, it's in order to get up here right now, okay? That's more like it there, okay. And snuggle in over here, come on. This is the photo op. We want all the veterans to know who's behind them, okay? So your presence is really important. Okay. So now Scott Gardner is going to explain a bit more about us, about the week coming up, and then I'll ask everybody to introduce themselves very briefly with just their name and organization. Scott?
Thank you, Mayor Fisher. My name is Scott Gardner. I am the Veterans Co-Chair for the Veterans Community Alliance of Louisville. I'm a proud veteran, over 22 years in the United States Marine Corps. Veterans Community Alliance of Louisville was established in 2014 as a means for coordinating veteran services in Louisville and promoting veteran-friendly community relations. VCAL is a comprehensive network comprised of veterans, veteran service providers, and other community members who care about the state of veteran services and relations in Jefferson County. Last year, Mayor Fisher approached VCAL about organizing the inaugural Week of Valor. This is the second year that VCAL has coordinated the Mayor's Week of Valor, and we look forward to it continuing for years to come. After a wildly successful series of events last year, this year promises to be even better. So there should be a slide. Here we go. Okay, so everyone should have received a handout that kind of covers the events. I just want to cover a few of them. On Sunday, we have the 5K Run With Our Heroes event. Next slide, please. The Veteran of the Year banquet is on Monday night, November 9th. And do we still have tickets available? Yes. All right, still tickets available for that. All right, on Wednesday, actually on Veterans Day, we have the Veterans Parade. It's going to be starting at 2nd Street. I'm sorry, is that right? 3rd Street, yeah, and it goes up to, all right, thanks, I guess somebody, it's on, yes, it's on Main, all right, I'm not actually, maybe I shouldn't go, I'll get lost, so somebody give me a map. All right, yeah, lead me the right way. Okay, so if everyone wants to, any veterans that want to march in that starts at 11. Next slide, please. Then we have the Care Expo, which is on Saturday, the 14th. So again, it's going to be a very successful series of events, and Mayor, we appreciate you allowing us to organize it again this year. We look forward to it coming for years to come. Thank you.
So all the events are detailed on this sheet here, so the 2015 Week of Valor. And for the media, we'd ask you all to broadcast what the website is for this. It's vcalouisville.org. Okay, if you could run that on your trailers and everything and drive people to these events. Everybody should be able to come out to at least one of them. There's a lot of fun stuff going on with this. Okay, Councilwoman Leet is not standing up here. You should be, because you help the city's budgeting process, so thank you for coming up here. Natalie Harris, I have no clue why you're not up here. So what I'd like to ask this team to do very quickly, and I've got a few more remarks when you're done, is just come by the podium and just say who you are and who you're with. So I want everybody to get kind of a perspective of how broad reaching this effort is, okay? So no speeches, but just, no speeches, Wayne, okay? So we'll start with you, all right? Wayne Hedinger, okay.
I'm Wayne Hedinger and proud to be one of the people behind the Veterans Day Parade.
I'm Treva Brockman, also a co-chair with the parade.
Glenn Giddings with the University of Louisville and the Run With Our Heroes 5K that you can still register for.
Teresa Reno Weber, the Mayor's Chief of Performance and Technology, former Coast Guard, and a co-chair for the Run With Our Heroes.
I'm Irvin Lyons. I'm with the National Association for Black Veterans. I'm with the Veterans Parade.
Jason Ballard, Louisville Metro Government, also former Air Force veteran.
I'm Vicki Lanks. I'm with the Kentucky, Indiana chapter of Paralyzed Veterans of America, and I was the chair of the Week of Valor Committee this year.
I'm John Mustaine with the Epilepsy Foundation of Kentuckiana's Kentucky Veterans of the Year program.
I'm Megan Carr. I'm the Louisville chapter captain for Team Red, White, and Blue, and we have one of the events going on. It's going to be the WAD, so come check us out. Thank you.
I'm Kristen Hughes, the Director of Arts and Healing from the Kentucky Center for the Arts and the leader of the Warriors Heart community, which is part of the Warriors Heart and Harvest event.
I'm Renee Finnegan, the military liaison for the University of Louisville, can you tell? And I'm an Army veteran of 28 years. My last station was Fort Knox.
I'm Adelina Sal, Chief of Voluntary Service at the Robley Rex VA Medical Center, Army veteran, and we have two events. We have From War to Home, which will be on the evening of the 10th, and the Veterans Wellness Expo on Saturday the 14th.
My name is Anisha Blakey. I'm a first-year law student at the University of Brandeis School of Law, and I'm also the civilian co-chair for Veterans Community Alliance of Louisville.
My name is Laura Calhoun, and I volunteer with the Kentucky Veterans of the Year program, and I'm also on the parade committee.
My name is Christina Julian. I work for JP Morgan Chase, and I am the resource guide chair for VCAL.
Hi, I'm Susan Norsworthy with 7 County Services and the Run With Our Heroes 5K.
I'm Robin Jones. I'm a Navy retired veteran. I'm with Athena Sisters.
I don't even think I need a mic. I'm Del Courtney. I'm the third co-chair for the Veterans Day Parade and the very proud spouse of a 35-year veteran.
I'm Gwen Cooper, and I'm with 7 Counties, the other partner in Run With Our Heroes 5K.
I'm Lindsay Gargado, and I'm with Athena Sisters. I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran, and we have an event Thursday evening, the 12th, the Heart and Harvest Dinner. We would love to have you at. Thank you.
I'm Natalie Harris with the Coalition for the Homeless and part of the prescription housing program, which I do want to brag one more thing about. While we have exceeded the original goal of 360 veterans in housing, we actually, thanks to many partners who are still sitting out here in the room, have 750 homeless veterans who actually have a voucher in hand or are somewhere in process of being housed this year. So thanks to Katina with the city and the Housing Authority and all you others that are in the room, I do have a smile on my face, and thank you very much for all your efforts.
Anybody else? Come on, line them up here, folks. Let's go. Come on up. Yep. Yep.
Carolyn Franklin, Veterans Committee.
Lindsay Volk, Legal Aid Society.
Anya Juan with Volunteers of America.
Richard Weaver, Navy veteran, and with Volunteers of America.
John Lannis, also with Volunteers of America, and I'll note that Volunteers of America is also coordinating volunteer activities throughout the week, a week of valor. So if you or your organization or your family want to get involved, we have projects at Volunteers of America and can connect you with all other great organizations represented here. So thank you.
Chase Sanders, and I'm with Congressman Yarmouth's office.
Councilwoman Angela Leet. My husband is a former Air Force veteran, and we are also proud sponsors of training for the, well, not official training, educational opportunity for future vets at University of Louisville's Air Force Detachment 295.
Okay, well, let's give these folks a big round of applause. Well done, and it's just amazing to see how this grows every year, and it's going to continue to grow as well. So you got to be proud of our city here, folks. We want to be seen as the most supportive and responsive community in the country for veterans, and we've got a lot to celebrate, but we still have a lot to do. So if you know a veteran who's homeless or at imminent risk of becoming homeless, refer him or her to call 637 BEDS, 637 BEDS, for more resources. And if you're a landlord or property manager who would like to get involved, call John Miles in the Department of Community Services at 574-5050. And also, we're calling on businesses to hire more veterans. We want to help empower veterans in their transition back to employment. We need mentors and we need trainers to help us as well. WhereOpportunityKnocks.com is a big part of that, so please check that out as well. And then we ask everybody to come and participate next week of Valor. You've seen there's plenty of things that you can do. Show our community support for the contributions of active duty military veterans and their families. And then finally, to all of our veterans here today, and I know there's many with us and throughout our community and the nation, we just want to thank you for taking that oath and thank you for your service to our country. And certainly we're all forever in your all's debt, and let's make sure we're doing what's required to make sure we meet that debt. So thank you very much for everybody coming here today, and let's go forth and have a great week and keep working on our homelessness goal. Thanks, everybody.
This has been a Metro TV production, a public service of Louisville Metro government.